Morgan began Curtsy Ballroom in 2023, but has been dancing and loving all things dance for 28 years. 28 years. She started competitive ballroom dancing 15 years ago while attending college, and her passion for ballroom dancing has never stopped. Most recently, she won her second world title in country western ballroom dance. Morgan first discovered partner dancing while training at Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater in New York. Today, Morgan works with couples to create those unforgettable wow moments, and it is one of her greatest joys. For Morgan, a couple's first dance is just as meaningful as their vows. Morgan is the youngest in her family. She has an older sister, Alyssa, their self-proclaimed family manager, whom she adores. Her mother is an executive at a power company, and her father recently retired after serving as vice president of a pharmaceutical company. Despite their busy professional lives, Morgan's parents always made time for both daughters' activities and hobbies. They continue to attend Morgan's dance competitions to this day, cheering on every step of the way. Their love, guidance, and support have been instrumental in helping Curtsy Ballroom flourish. And now, please welcome to the Wedding Reporter podcast, Morgan Mizell of Curtsy Ballroom. Yay! I love this fainting couch vibe.
Yeah,
I will say
make it a little relaxing.
This is the first podcast I've ever done on a fainting couch, and I'm all about it. And I feel like I want to incorporate this more into what I'm doing. So I might have to just like buy some of these. And I'm like, any event that we do with a podcast, just lay down. You know, I love it. It's so good. Well, we have a lot to cover tonight, Morgan. And the first question I want to ask you is, how did it all begin? How did you get into dance?
Into ballroom or dance period?
Well, maybe give us just a snippet of getting into it at first, and then let's see how it got into ballroom.
Okay, so so at first, when I was little, I had a really small case of scoliosis.
Wow.
And it was either, back braces and all of that, or put her in dance class.
Yeah.
So my parents put me in tap class first, and I hated it. It's the absolute worst. My mom still has a picture of me in the Minnie Mouse costume when I was 3. Precious. And I was crying. You just have tears rolling down my face. But then my next performance, I was maybe 5 or 6. We were just standing up there with streamers, and and I just remember wanting to stay up there forever. And once all the other girls, or maybe 7 or 8 girls, 7 left and 1 stayed on. And just kept waving that ribbon. And that was me, and I got a standing ovation.
Oh my goodness.
And I've been addicted to it ever since.
Oh, that is so cool. Okay, so at a young age, scoliosis, that's a pretty amazing and unusual way to get into dance, which is really cool. That is a part of your story.
Yeah, I honestly never really think about it because it was so minor.
Yeah.
And, it was just a no-brainer. Just put her in ballet.
Right, yeah.
So, but yeah, that's where it all started.
Wow. And then what was your transition like into ballroom? So you did like traditional like ballet, tap, jazz, like that sort of thing at first. And then like at what age were you like, did you discover ballroom dance?
So I discovered partner dancing when I was in New York, training at Alvin Ailey. I'd never thought I would get in, by the way.
Wow.
But I spent 3 months there, and one of the weekends that I was there, I went to a dance studio called Broadway Dance Center, and they had a salsa dance class. And I was like, what is this?
Ooh, fun.
And I was like, this could be fun. So I went out with a couple of my friends, and we just learned the basics. And then I realized that, relationship, the dynamics between having a partner and working together to create something amazing, again, just became addicting.
That's so cool.
And then, I hit college, and I was treasurer, I think, of the salsa club at Drexel.
Oh, fun.
For like a year. And then my friend Yulia was like, hey, you should try competing with UPenn's ballroom team. And I was like, I've never danced ballroom before. And she was like, well, you're a dancer, so it should be easy, right? No, it was not.
Wow.
But I decided to go one day. It maybe took 3 weeks to get me to get the courage to go. And that first class, I think it was my Latin teacher, she was like, you have a very nice presence, and would you want to compete at our next competition? And I was like, sure, when is it? In 3 weeks.
What?
So I went and competed, and I didn't know what I was doing the entire time. But I ended up winning 5th in Latin somehow.
Wow.
And then once I got that green ribbon, I was like, I have to do more.
Wow. A natural. Literally 3 weeks into ballroom, you are getting 5th place at competitions. Like, that's incredible.
Oh,
So
thank
cool.
you.
I love that story. That is so cool that, like, you're just like, yeah, I'm going to go compete with UPenn, and I'm going to do it. And yeah, I mean, in dance, I feel like some dance is like transferable, but ballroom, I feel like, is a whole nother ball game.
Yes, because you have dance and you have dance sport,
Yeah.
which is all of the partner dances, ballroom, especially competitive traditional ballroom. So it's like for most people that are coming from like ballet, tap, jazz, modern background, they always say, oh, it'll make it easier. It doesn't.
Wow.
It's like starting back from zero.
Yeah.
But it's a zero that's fun. Very fun. It's very cool to learn something new and move your body in different ways.
Yeah. So cool. So tell us a little bit about your ballroom dance career, I guess, and then how that ended up transitioning into you becoming a ballroom instructor.
Okay, so oh goodness. So my ballroom career did not end when I graduated from college. It just started to look a little different.
Okay.
So instead of dancing with other students and competing with other students, I started dancing with my coaches and going to competitions that way. Because as a woman, it's generally a little on the harder side to find a man who wants to dance. Ballroom especially. But so yeah, I started at Blue Ballroom in Wilmington, Delaware.
Cool.
And once we started competing, it was my coach's name was Johnny Postolacci, and he's from Romania, and just we had this instant kind of connection, and our chemistry on the dance floor was just off the charts, and we actually danced and competed together for almost 5 years.
Wow.
And it was just the best time of my life, and that was actually while I was a scientist. And so,
Dang, girl, you do it all. Like you have like a science brain and an artsy brain. Like how does that work? That's amazing.
I always like to say that, art and science, they are very they go hand in hand. I talk to most of my brides, and I will,
Yeah.
talk to them about momentum and torque, and, making sure that, you're not you're not creating your own movement from zero. You have to wait on your partner to move you,
Wow.
to transfer
Yeah.
that kinetic energy to you. And so, having my degrees in science,
Right.
cellular molecular biology, biochemistry, and genetics, and a master's in immunology, I like to incorporate those things into my dance classes. And I find that it really helps my couples, especially the ones that are doing lifts that people think are so difficult. And, it's like the minute, I talk about, as the woman, the follower. With me and Anna, it's a little bit different since we're both women, but she is my lead. But since I mostly work with men and women that are getting married, the woman has to remember to, I always like to call it active passivity, like pay attention, but realize when the energy is getting transferred to you. And then you move. I do this exercise with all of my clients, and they all hate it. I do this sort of like thing where we're chest to chest, and I'm like, okay, do not move until I move you. The thing about ballroom is, if you think about the woman as an immovable object and the man, the lead, as a runaway train, that immovable object is not going to move until that runaway train hits it. And so that's the relationship that I like to liken to ballroom, relationships between leading and following. So I think science has played a big role in my dance career.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Sorry, that was a long answer.
No, I like a long answer because I'm so fascinated and want to learn more, especially like relating science to ballroom. I think people don't think there is a relation, but like with how you just explained it all, it makes so much sense. It's like the runaway train, the immovable object. It's like you don't go until he goes. Like
exactly
the lead and everything. I think that's really cool, and I think it just like makes how you train your dancers so different from how other ballroom dance instructors train their students, I guess.
It is a little different, but it's, most dance teachers will say, when I used to do, be a visiting teacher somewhere, I did a series on the art of ballroom at my old dance studio in St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them would be like, oh, we do it like this. And I'm like, that is also right.
Yeah.
But here's how I teach it.
Yeah.
So, every dance teacher has a different approach. Mine just happens to be pretty technical.
Yeah. Wow. That is so cool. And I think it just gives people a good, visual of how they need to move their bodies on the dance floor too, which is really cool. So something that I feel like I cut you off a little bit, but wanted to circle back to was, how did you end up going from ballroom to actually being an instructor?
Okay.
And you started telling the story of how
and I
you
went
guys...
off track.
No, that was, I interjected because I was like, biology, hold up a second. So you had a ballroom dance partner, you said, for 4 years, who was also your instructor, and you guys would compete together. Is that right? After college. And it looked a lot different at that point.
It was very different from dancing, salsa with my friends or for a show. When I was 15, 16, we get called in to do talent shows and things like that. But this type of dance is much more structured. It has much more discipline to it. And it takes so much, not just physical energy, but mental and emotional energy as well. Mm-hmm. Which is why every single time after a dance competition, I'm just drained. I don't know if Anna's in here, but she can attest.
Yeah, right.
She knows I just go right back up to my room. But so I was So I was living in Philadelphia, working as a scientist, but I was commuting to Delaware to compete and to train. And then I moved here in 2020 to get my PhD, and I found a great studio here, and I had, let me see, how long was I with Brogan? I think maybe 3 or 4 years. We also had a great, chemistry on the dance floor, and he's very supportive and everything. And at one of the competitions, actually my last one before I started dancing country, this woman came up to me, and it was in Atlanta, and and we had just won Latin and standard. And this woman came up to me, African American woman, with her beautiful, like 5-year-old daughter, and I saw her dancing on the floor. She was adorable. And then afterwards, this little girl comes up to me, and she was like, "Am I gonna be like you one day?" And I was just like, my gosh. And then the mom asked if I had ever thought about teaching. And I was like, no. It was not, I didn't think that it would ever happen. I was like, I'm a scientist. That's what I do, you know? And, you know, no matter how artsy I've been a competitive pianist for 13 years.
Wow.
And so I love to blend arts and the sciences, but normally it's art as a hobby, science as a career. And so I never really saw an avenue with it until I started to think about it, like scientifically. I will say, you know, after the woman approached me, you know, I just started thinking, like, what does it look like when you have a sport that is so expensive that it starts to be exclusive? And I wanted to create an inclusive space that everybody could come to, because I feel like everybody should learn the elegance and the refinement behind ballroom. You know, it increases discipline, it helps you with your posture, you walk more confidently, and I want everybody to experience that. And my aunt died a year before, and she was my biggest cheerleader. Like, when my parents couldn't come to competition, she would be there with a big sign, you know, with my name on it. And I remember I always used to say, because when I was in graduate school, I was in my first year of graduate school when she died, and I told her, I was like, I don't like this.
Wow.
And she was like, you know, I think you know what you do like, and follow that.
Yeah.
And that was about 3 months before she passed. Since then, I have been dreaming about creating this.
Yeah.
So,
Wow. What a special, like, touching story that, like, your aunt was so inspirational to
she
you.
was amazing.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
to just see, like, how her inspiration has brought you so far after her passing and everything, and you've kind of, like, kept that fire alive in her memory to
like,
to
this
do
is
what you do.
for her, yeah.
Definitely. That's so special. You must be just so, you should be so proud of everything that you've done, and with the studio opening and everything, it's so amazing.
I was kind of freaking out about the studio. I was on the phone with you. I was like, Alyssa, what are people gonna think walking through a warehouse?
No, it's so cool. I mean, like, you wouldn't think walking in that this could be so gorgeous.
They
in
did
this
a beautiful
space.
job. My
So
interior
gorgeous.
designer did a great job. You know, me, my mom, and my dad, shout out to them, by the way. They were looking for some brick and mortar spaces.
Yeah.
They were just all so expensive. Real estate in Nashville these days, you know? And so I was up just all night one night, just looking for any and everything. And I found this place, and it was like, a co-working space for creative entrepreneurs. And I was like, oh, that's me.
Yeah. That is you.
But, you know, and so I just sort of, on ChatGPT, I just started this plan. I found this space, and I took sort of a pan scan of it and inserted it into ChatGPT, and I was like, what can I do with this? Give me some mock-ups.
Yeah.
And then it surprised me. I was like, I can actually do this.
Yeah.
And I just need some people that could see the vision and believe in it too.
Yeah.
And my parents were a big part of that. So I will forever thank them for believing in me and this business and in my abilities, and just always supporting me and being there. even my sister, the family manager, she's in DC right
yeah.
now, but you know, she's here in spirit. Her name's also Alyssa.
Yes, I know. I love it so much.
Yeah.
Oh, she's here in spirit for sure.
She is.
Oh, that's so cool. So, what was your inspiration behind the decor and everything for your space? It's so beautiful.
It's gonna sound so kitschy, but definitely Bridgerton.
Yes, girl.
Like,
yeah.
the second season came out right when I was starting. It might have been the second season. And I just loved the wisterias and the pastels and just all of that. And, like, you know, just everything just looked so effortlessly elegant and feminine. And I really wanted to communicate a bridal space because last year I was, you know, working with the Global Education Center, which are amazing dance studios. They are great.
Wow.
But I always would walk in and be like, this doesn't feel very bridal, you know?
Yeah.
And so that was really like my main kind of decoration inspo was like make it feel like when couples walk in here, this is like a dry run.
Yeah.
For their wedding dance, you know, with the
Totally.
draping, chandeliers, the flowers.
So true.
So I wanted to just make it feel bridal.
Yeah. You definitely accomplished that.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank
All right. As we close out, maybe tell us more about Curtsy Ballroom and the packages you offer and all of the good things,
All the
like
good
where
stuff.
people can find you online, all of that stuff.
Yes, so you can find me on Instagram at Curtsy Ballroom, and online you can find me on www.curtsyballroom.com, and I'm also on TikTok, but I'm a late millennial, so I'm not. I don't post too much there, but I have some stuff if you want to follow me there, and I am also listed with Nashville Bride Guide, which is amazing. And thank you for featuring so many of my weddings and so many of my amazing couples.
Yes.
Just, I mean, it's been amazing. I mean, Mackenzie and Trey, they were just featured last week, and now they're
Yeah.
here doing their dance, and I was just crying my eyes out over here, and it was really amazing. So I'm also listed on the Knot. If you look under dance lessons, or if you look under entertainment, I will be there. And I'm also on Wed Society Nashville, under the Before I Do list.
Oh, okay.
So
That's
I thought that was
cool.
kind of a cute way to put it, like before you say
Yeah.
I do. But so about my packages. So tonight, any brides or any people that just want to jump into ballroom or wedding dance, I'm offering 25% off everything.
Wow.
But it's only if you're here and you book with me today. I will give you the code at the end of the night, and you'll be able to take your classes. Not just if you're getting married. It's if you want a date night, if you want to just learn how to not just do the penguin sway with your significant other. You know, I can just teach you how to move together and love each other in different ways, you know? So my elegance package for wedding is my 4-lesson package. I generally like to say if you have a month or less between the time you start and your wedding, book that package. That is probably for this, like the simple but elegant dances, like Leah and Nathan. Like that, they had 4 or 5 sessions with me, and that's what you can get. I mean, and their dance was amazing.
Yeah, it was.
I'm so proud of them, and you know, they accomplished so much in so little time, and it just, you know, they worked so hard, and it was beautiful. And then my next package is Radiance package. It's my most popular package. It's 8 lessons. I always recommend that if you are doing a mashup, which is sort of what Connor and Sierra did.
Yeah.
But they actually did a little bit more with me because Sierra is a very talented photographer.
Ooh,
And
nice.
she reached out to me, and I knew I needed some headshots, some cute things. And she was like, how about we just barter? And I was like,
Yeah.
great.
So good.
And so, yeah, they've had about 8 or 9 lessons.
Nice.
And Mackenzie and Trey, I think, had five lessons as well. So that's sort of elegance plus 1.
Yeah.
But yes, my Radiance package is the most popular just because that gives them 2 months, 2 to 4 months to prepare. That's generally the time frame that I recommend is 2 to 4 months. If you want something like a production, give me 3 to 6 months. And that's generally my opulence package, which are 12 lessons. So you're generally working with me for 3 months if you go once a week. And then my grandeur package, which is, the ultimate of the ultimate. I have one beautiful couple that are doing it. They're actually recreating the Wednesday dance.
Oh my gosh, that is so cool.
And they were like, yeah, we're going to need 16 sessions for this.
Yeah.
So I hope you end up featuring them somewhere.
Oh my gosh, I would love that. Send them on over.
I will. They're getting married October 31st of next year.
Oh, that's so cool.
So I was like, thank you so much for
Perfect.
giving me this lead time because they actually want to recreate the entire dance. So I was like, this is going to take me a few months.
Yeah, I know, for you to learn it and then to teach it,
Yes,
right?
Yes. So I like, having, 4, 5, 6 months. And I would love to just encourage brides everywhere not to think of this as a last minute thing. If you have to, I will be here no matter what your time frame is. I've taught a wedding dance in half of a lesson and they were getting married the next day.
Wow.
And they just didn't know that it was possible.
Wow.
And then they messaged me and I was like, okay, I'll give you some cute dips and, maybe a cute little lift. And then I saw the video and I was like, oh, wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but it's also stressful.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So start early. If you have not learned anything from this yet, it's starting early.
Start early. Like when Vanita said, don't think that it's a bookend, like the last thing you do.
Yes.
You want to have forethought in it. And that's why me and her partnered together, for the relationship building packages, the Dance Your Vows. I feel like your vows, it's kind of like the first dance of your ceremony. You're saying your vows verbally and then you are demonstrating it to people at the reception through dance. And so, yes, book early.
Yeah, for sure. Oh my goodness. One last thing. When are we going to see you on Dancing with the Stars?
Oh my gosh.
as an instructor.
Okay.
That
I'm
would
not
be
that
so cool.
good. Actually, one of the dancers that I used to go to the same studio with, Daniela Karagach and Pasha Pashkov, they're actually on this season.
Oh, cool.
They've been on the last 5 or 6 seasons.
Yeah.
We train at the same dance studio.
Wow.
And she is just leaps and bounds above me. So I would not even want to attempt that. I like where I am. I feel like in dance, everybody kind of has a thing. Like,
Right.
if you know how they say, if you can't do, teach. I mean, I can do, but I
Right.
also teach.
Yeah.
But, being on, that superstar level, I feel like is just for a certain type of person.
Yeah.
And I love seeing the relationships between a couple and just having them like privately in my studio. Like that is where I just love being.
That's so
you know,
cool.
so yeah.
Oh, I love that so much, Morgan. Thank you
you.
so much for just sharing your story with us. That was so great.
Thank you. I was really nervous.
Oh my gosh, you did amazing. I just love hearing your story and everything. So I appreciate you just like opening up and sharing it with us.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
There you have it, another episode of the Wedding Reporter podcast. To see those gorgeous wedding and engagement photos, head over to NashvilleBrideGuide.com for more behind-the-scenes content. And if you like this episode, I would so appreciate it if you would rate and subscribe the show. See you next time for another great episode.